Associated Black Charities, we have the annual gala coming up.
We do. We have our annual Fundraising Gala coming up. It's on June 12th this year, and it is the 25th anniversary.
Praise the Lord.
Associated Black Charities, 25 years ago. In terms of, again, a set of community giants and legends who came together, pushed back in terms of, at that time, having to push back the United Way and others to say, you know, if money's going to come from our community, we want it to be spent in our community. And that was a very big part of Ray Hayes. But I'll tell you, I had lunch with him once, and he had the whole chart he laid out about making sure the black dollar flows back into the black community in terms of, and that was the origin in terms of Associated Black Charities. How do we make sure that we galvanize our community to give back in our community to make a difference? And so 25 years later, the organization still stands and will continue to grow, and I think now be very focused around these times that we have to have an advocacy agenda, a public policy agenda, and both investing in programs through grants around closing the wealth and health gaps. That's the bottom line right now in terms of economic power, and how do we continue to grow that, particularly in this region where we are a majority and not necessarily in our economic power.
I can't imagine anyone out there not knowing, but for those who may not know, Diane Bell-McKoy is former president and CEO of Empower Baltimore Management Corporation. I brag about her everywhere I go across the world. She ran a $100 million federally funded HUD initiative, which empowered Sandtown, Winchester, and Penn North, and Coppin, and all the way down to Harlem Park, to Washington Village and Pigtown, and also Poppleton, and then in East Baltimore, historic East Baltimore, and also East Harbor. And we help people get jobs, we help businesses grow, and we help people buy houses. And then you parlayed over to Associated Black Charities. But even before that, Coach, this lady used to work with your main man down in the district. The one and only.
He is my main man.
That's my start.
What lessons did you learn from a Marion Barry administration?
You know, the lessons I learned are probably the lessons right now that I carry with me, and the lessons in the empowerment zone, and that is, you know, it's nothing like the child has got his own. In terms of finding ways and opportunities to make sure that our community not just has opportunities, the conversation recently had, but what Marion did and others in terms of in Ray Hayes was making sure we had access to that opportunity. It's not enough just to put the opportunity out there. You got to make sure we've got the tools to have access. And oftentimes we don't have access to those opportunities to grow economically. I'm very clear from all of those lessons in terms of throughout my career that the difference in the future for our community is around the economic empowerment. It's when you look at the issue of what's going on in our community, from drugs in terms of alternatives, it really is about the money. It's about, for us, not necessarily having it or keeping it. The foreclosure rate in terms of the largest loss of wealth in the African American community in this country is a result of foreclosure. We didn't know what we didn't know, and people took advantage of that. You know, other opportunities in terms of business development. Our focus is how do we help African American businesses grow? But even more, Donnie, now, how do we help African American businesses go to the mezzanine level? It's not enough just to be a small business. You all know that. How do we help you grow to go to the mezzanine so that you can have more employees? Because guess what? We know that you will hire a greater number of African Americans as employers than other employers will. And so that's what this is about. And that's a lesson from every single step in my life has been, I think, leading up to this. And how do we continue to grow wealth in our community?
But I want to